This show is brought to you by Databril, the scalable Amazon PPC management for large Amazon sellers and brands. Visit sellersessions.com/agency for more details. Hey guys, welcome back to Seller Sessions. Let's dive straight back in. Another thing I wanted to cover with you, and you've kind of covered this as well, you got your own PPC agency. We had a client who wanted to do a lot more in the way of dominating across multiple products on the same set of keywords on page one. So Ellis set up a load of tests for this. So we tested with products, same parent, not same parent, different ad groups, different campaigns and stuff. And so what we were able to achieve was to have, say, 3 different products. The only differentiator for us that we found is that they can't belong to the same parent. So they went into the same campaign, similar bids, and then we're able to get sponsored ad positions 1, 2, and 3 with 3 different products. And our client already run headline search ads, so they had 3 products there, and then they had the skyscrapers down the side, which is part of sponsored, the headline search ads as well. So take that and 1 appearance of organic on the page, you pretty much got domination. However, there is a cost in terms of your A cost can get a bit ugly with this, but we're still testing that. So I found that quite interesting. Have you got some techniques like that?
Yeah, I mean, this is something I've done sometimes, especially like if a new competitor comes in and starts bidding. I see a new competitor bidding on the keyword for PPC, and they're taking up like the top spot and they're trying to break into the market. Then I will go very aggressive and try to get the headline ad, try to get the top spot for like multiple products on the first page, and you sort of try to outspend and block them out. Now, I can do that because these are existing profitable products for me. If it's a new product for somebody else and they're starting to see after a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, $7, $8 bids for this new product that they're trying to launch, then that's going to be alarming to them on saying, man, this is tough to compete for this keyword. So I like to be very aggressive when I'm launching. So kind of like the same, you were talking about launching your product before. I like to be very aggressive. I don't care really what the A cost is when I'm starting out. If it's 100% or whatever, I don't really care because I'm just trying to get those initial sales, visibility, reviews. But as a defensive mechanism, you always want to keep an eye on the first page. And if you have new people coming in, it's a great way to outspend and block them out. And it does work because you're raising your bids and you're forcing other people to have to bid higher in order to get those top spots. And it's a really good way to continue to dominate, sort of a niche or keyword if you do have, competition coming in and you're willing to spend the money in order to sort of like knock them out. But I've heard people say like, if you have the number 1 organic spot for a product, you shouldn't do sponsored ads. I personally like to control more real estate on the page and just have more chances that somebody's going to click on my products as opposed to somebody else's product and try to take up as much real estate as possible. So I like to be aggressive. And these are some cases where you might want to use something like a bid plus, for example, within sponsored ads to get that top spot. And one thing somebody recently told me is that if I'm bidding, let's say $2 on a keyword and I add bid plus, I have a better chance to get that top spot than somebody else who might be bidding $4, even without bid plus, because I'm sending a signal to the algorithm that I want that top spot and I'm willing to pay for it. So these are some things that you can use if you want to be aggressive to kind of control more of the real estate on the page, especially on mobile, because if you have headline ads and the first like sponsored and the first organic or whatever you're like showing up on the entire screen on mobile.
Yeah, makes total sense. And with the bid plus, I'm not a big fan of it, but the other mechanism we're using bid plus, because it adds a percentage on top of the initial bid. Set your initial bid lower and then that hits your maximum. So you're always going to hit your ceiling, but you're happy with that because that's your maximum bid. So that's one way of using bid plus. But I think people use bid plus the wrong way. They're using it because in the hope that they'll get certain positions and they'll start at the initial bid that they are willing to spend and then add 50% on top. So instead, you would just bid lower and then you hit your maximum by using bid plus.
Yeah, and one thing I'd recommend that you look at is if you are doing bid plus, is look at your placement report, right? Because the placement report is going to show you the times where you are at top of search and what your ACoS and what your cost per click is. And I've seen cases like on some of my stuff where my ACoS is actually lower and my cost per click sometimes is lower at that top spot. I guess because I'm converting better and sort of the algorithm, I'm converting better at that top spot instead of like, page 2 or whatever. And the algorithm is rewarding the conversions with a better cost per click, and I have a better ACoS. So it's something that if you are running Bid Plus, yeah, you should pay attention to that placement report to see if it's worthwhile for you or not.
Yeah, makes total sense. Right, so I've got a couple of emails in from listeners, both pertaining to reviews. So let's go into the first one. So, good evening, Danny. I've been listening to your podcast for a while now. They are by far the most informative and useful out there, and I've watched and listened to quite a lot. Thank you. Checks in the post there. So he's been saying that he's been selling on Amazon for a couple of years, and the reason he's reaching out is because he's finding it very, very difficult to solicit for reviews. So he's put, I've been trying card inserts, direct mail postcards after purchase, automated emails, nothing is working. Amazon customers block auto emails. There is no early review program in the UK yet. It's really messed up area. I'm spending so much of my time thinking about how to get reviews and resorting to subtle black hat methods, but I don't want to risk my account, which is fair enough.
Right.
He has a point, because there is a big limitation here in the UK. In each situation, what would you do?
Yeah, so one thing I would try to do is do a combination of things. Be aggressive in your sales price so that you get a lot more sales. And then I would run targeted Facebook ads to your past Amazon buyers. I've done that and it's worked well. All you need to do on Facebook is you need to create a custom audience, which is name, address, first name, last name, like address. So you can actually download the orders from Amazon into an Excel sheet, then sort them by the product that you're targeting, and then upload those customers to Facebook as a custom audience. It's not as easy as, let's say, just downloading a spreadsheet from Managed by Stats, but you should be able to do it and probably reach 40% or so, 40 to 50% of those people. The only way it's going to be effective is if you have 1,000 orders or 500 orders plus, because you're only going to reach some of those people, and only some of those people are going to write reviews. But if you have 1,000 orders, can you get 10 reviews pretty quickly? Yeah, probably. If you're running an ad, I would run it for like 5 days, $50 a day. Like, be aggressive on Facebook and target people to get to write reviews. That's been a very effective way for me to get reviews. Sometimes I'll do that if my star rating drops a little bit. If I go from 4.5 to 4 stars, for example, and I need some reviews to kick it up, then I'll download a list for like the last month or two of orders, and then I'll run it through a Facebook custom audience. So we should be able to do that. I think that's probably the most effective thing he could do quickly if he's got sales.
Cool. Right. Second question from this is from Carl. I wanted to ask if you and the folks you stay in touch with are in mind that launching new products is still viable now that Amazon is capping review rates. We used to be able to get 5% review rate, but now it seems that Amazon will only allow 0.5 review rate overall. If everyone has the same cap, then essentially cements anyone who already has a high review count on their listings, since no one can ever catch up again. But we're very excited to try and grow our 6 million company to 10 million. Congratulations. But it seems out of reach on Amazon. What are your thoughts on the subject?
I'm still launching new products. I know you're still launching new products. I personally don't get so crazy over reviews. I think at a certain point, once you have, a certain amount of reviews, you can compete, even with people that have much more reviews than you have. And Amazon has been, somebody sent me a screenshot this week from a customer where it said, like, you can't leave any reviews on this product right now. And so I don't think that should limit what you launch. I think maybe it should, it's going to influence the strategy of maybe what keywords you try to rank for or launch. But I still think there's tremendous opportunity to launch products on Amazon. If you're doing 6 million, then I think you know how Amazon works. You can launch new products and get to that 10 million, but it wouldn't stop me from launching new products. I also think, it's more of an issue when you're not differentiating your product. So, if I'm differentiating my product in some way, then the person can't compare apples to apples, the exact same thing, and just look at reviews. This has 1,000 reviews, this has 20 reviews, I'm going to buy this one. If you're differentiating and the product is different, then they can't compare apples to apples anymore. And that amount of reviews you're up against is not as big a factor because you've added a bonus, you've improved the material, whatever, you've done something. And so I think more sellers need to think about, how am I differentiating my product than just launching, me too products that are the same as everybody else. So yeah, of course, if somebody has, 2,000 reviews and you're new and you're doing the exact same thing, then yeah, you're not going to win unless you heavily play the price game, which you probably don't want to do.
Exactly. And the thing is, I can understand where they're coming from because they're being aggressive. They're at 6 million. So again, congratulations, guys. That is brilliant. And you want to get to 10 million. And I know from my understanding, I don't do those kind of numbers, but I know from understanding, it's very difficult for when people moving from 1 million to 10 million. And the fact that they're at 6 million, and I can see why reviews may be playing on their mind, because if they want to be aggressive to get to the 10 million, then they're going to need to go for high octane products, therefore go after with lots of reviews. But I do feel that the landscape is shifting. And if you can afford to not wait it out, but, take a little bit of time out, focus on your products and allow for the time to pass, eventually things start to normalize themselves. So you get to the stage, like you look at this time next year, you're in a different position. You might not worry too much about reviews. It's only now because a lot of people think about the Chinese are getting X amount a day, but this is all being capped. So even Chinese black hatters that people have become scared of,
right,
still having an advantage because they're still going to be able to get reviews anyway, but they can't do them volumes that they once did because it's capped,
Yes, and I would think about, if I had, $6 million business, I would think about, well, what are the things I can take advantage of? So for one, you have existing products, obviously, that are getting significant traffic. Well, what variations can you add to those products, right? Like, how can you take advantage of your existing traffic where you have existing reviews to sort of grow your sales based on that, as opposed to, let's say, a brand new product, right? So think about variations and how you can grow the existing, or how can you increase your price? Can you convert better, right? All these things obviously around optimization, but also adding variations. And then, like you said, things may change. What if Amazon in 6 months comes out and only shows the last 12 months of reviews on products?
That'd be amazing.
I mean, right? That will be really good for leveling the playing field, right? And so things can change. So I still it wouldn't stop me from launching new products where I thought I can deliver more value to the customer. And that's, I think, one thing people don't ask enough of the question, why would somebody buy from me? I mean, if I'm putting up the exact same product as somebody else and it's identical and they have more reviews, then I have to compete on price, and I don't want to do that, right? So why would somebody buy from me is a question you need to ask yourself, like, what value am I putting in the marketplace? And do I want my competition to be my competitors, or am I trying to compete sort of with the customer? How much more value and how much more can I give to the customer than other people are? And if you start thinking like that, then then your competitors aren't your number one thing. They should always be in the back of your mind, but the customer, I feel like, should be on the front of your mind, and how you can add more value. And if you do that, then you can start to differentiate and do better than your competitors.
Yeah, I mean, another example for 10 million a year sellers, we've had Nick and Fernando from Seller Tradecraft. You know those guys, don't you?
Yep.
So they've been on, and they're at a stage now where they don't do giveaways. They just go hard on PPC, and they still have to get reviews. But I think what their strategy is more about is they'll go into a niche and eat their own profits. So they cannibalize themselves to own that niche. And that's one of the ways that they've done it too. And they're still growing their business now.
Right.
And so everyone's going to have their struggles. But I think what happens is the way to look at some of these things is that when Amazon does this, it levels the playing field for everyone at some point, whether you're behind the beat or in front of the beat. At some point, it catches up. You've seen how Amazon moves so fast, right?
Right.
We were talking off call that, that people need to update their courses on a regular basis. like the screen grabs or whatever, because it moves so fast. And it's the same with this situation. So what the concerns are today for the 6 million to get to 10 million, in 3 weeks' time, that might be resolved. And Amazon does that inadvertently. Does that make sense?
Right. Yes, definitely. And so you shouldn't ask. And so, the question you're asking today about new product launches is going to be different than the question you're asking, 6 months from now.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, we've covered reviews plenty of time. I mean, even like 2 mastermind groups, I was invited to attend one and I got my own last month. And then, you shoot around the table, right? What are the topics? Everyone goes, launch strategy, how to get reviews. They're always the thing that comes to the top of the list. But yeah, I mean, I think we put so much emphasis on reviews and that's fine. But I think, Carl, you and your guys will definitely find a way forward. Hopefully the information we shared here will shed some light on it. Talking to launches again, you've got something launching next week. Is there anything particular that you're doing at the moment?
So I'm definitely going to utilize the strategy of exact match with PPC. It's work. I've heard that it's definitely has some impact. I'm also going to be testing a 1-day launch instead of like a 7 to 10 day launch. So I've seen some data around sort of taking all the units you would give over like a 7 to 10 day period and just like spiking the sales for 1 day. This is something that worked back in 2014 to 2015. And I've seen some data from some launches where not only has it worked to rank, but the rank has stuck a little bit better than a longer launch. So this is definitely something I'm going to be testing.
Almost like a lightning deal with keywords.
Yes, exactly. Yep. And then, one other thing I'm doing, I don't know, one of the thing I'm doing is I'll be sending traffic through Messenger, and I have a ManyChat audience, and I'll be sending traffic through Messenger also to like a deal club sort of list, also through like a 2-step URL. So I'll be doing launches from a few different sort of traffic sources: email list, Facebook, Messenger, and trying to really drive a ton of sales in a short period of time, along with very aggressive PPC to get those. And then product doesn't have it's not obviously not going to have any reviews, but the product is different enough. There's nothing else on Amazon just like it. So I think once I get to the first page, I have a chance because. Cool,
sounds good. Is there anything you want to cover before we go?
No. If you'll be at Global Sources this coming October, I'll be there. Speaking. I know you've spoken there. I've never been to that summit, so I'm looking forward to being at the Global Sources summit this October. And we have a podcast, Amazon Seller Podcast. You can check out as well.
Excellent. And email address people can reach you on?
Liran, Liran at amazingfreedom.com.
Sounds good. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us today. Liran, thank you for joining us. If this is your first time, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and visit sellersessions.com for all the latest show notes. We have over 100 episodes now, so go check that out, and we'll see you again in a few days' time. Take care. Hey guys, that's it from us. Please rejoin us again in a few days' time.